Chelsea 1, Fulham 0. They do the double this season over their West London rivals. They go above Manchester United in the Premier League. They go above Newcastle United in the Premier League. And just 8 points now off of a top 5 position. Only 9 points away from a top 4 position now. And for Chelsea, look, there's still much to criticise in terms of the overall outlook. The Wednesday night defeat of Middlesbrough. But they're a team now. And listen, there are things to talk about in terms of improvements. This is their 3rd win on the bounce in the Premier League for the first time this season. It is the first time in 4 years that they have won 4 home games on the bounce in the Premier League, which you think for a club like Chelsea is almost ridiculous. There is more that needs to improve. Killing games off absolutely needs to happen for this side. There is no doubt about that. I don't think even the most diehard Chelsea fan could delve into it. Still, I know Chelsea fans are not happy with some of the manager's decisions, bringing on Chilwell but putting him at left attacking, like on the wing, leaving Colwell in that position where he still again today looks a little bit exposed at times. That is going to cause some issues for a lot of people. Because there is some talent. There is some real talent in this team. I thought midfield-wise, I thought Caicedo and Enzo were excellent today for Chelsea. I really do. I thought the performance of their defenders, although there was a couple of tackles that we'll get onto later, I thought the likes of Gusto, I thought Silva, they had really good games. Yes, a few late tackles, but that's part of the course. Some really good clearances, some really good blocks. Stopping Fulham really creating too many gilt-edged chances. There was only really the save that Petrovic had to make from Harry Wilson in the first half. Really was the only time that Chelsea were in any danger. A few scrambly moments towards the end of that second half. Outside of it, they defended pretty resolutely. The problem is it's that consistency in front of goal killing these games off. What Chelsea need are more Cole Palmers. What Chelsea need is Mauricio Pochettino playing people in their natural positions and making, I think, some more positive substitutions. I think with 15 minutes to go in that game, and I want to say about 15 minutes, I'm looking here, it was 77 minutes plus injury, more than 15 minutes in totality, taking off Raheem Sterling for Ben Chilwell. Cole Palmer came up pretty late. A lot of their subs were negative. I think Chelsea had to go for that second goal and kill the game off. Now, they won in the end. They did go on to win. But that second goal put the game to bed so you can enjoy the last 10 minutes of the game, reserve a little bit of energy, and move on to the next one. So I do think these elements here are going to be frustrating. I also think as well, when, Fulham have had a busy week as well. They had 1 day less rest. I think there'll be a lot of frustration there for Chelsea fans. Although, listen, 4 home wins on the bounce for the first time in 4 years, 3 wins on the bounce in the Prem, 4 wins in your last 5 Premier League games now, and only a handful of points away from some serious European positions. There is still something to fight for and move forward and kind of come together on. I do want to talk about a decision in this game, though. And that comes down to the potential red card. This picture was obviously posted by the BBC on social media. Gusto sent off for the tackle on the top earlier on in the season, and then only receiving a yellow card for the tackle below today. Many saying there's an inconsistency here. Many stating that Fulham were robbed and it should have been a red card, and it would have, of course, changed the course of the game. I really want to gather your opinions. I really want to gather what you think and feel. For me personally, I'm going to be honest with you, although the same area of the leg has been hit, I personally think there's a difference in these 2 tackles. The difference being, in the first one on top, that is at the full extent of the lunge and extension of Gusto's tackle. Where in the one above, he goes for the ball and just misses it, and the contact is made at the beginning of that thrust. So it's less dangerous. Therefore, for me, I believe a yellow card was the correct decision here. When you slow it down and look at it from multiple angles, it can look worse. I actually think, and I'm not a big defender at all here of VAR. I think red, listen, I understand the argument. I do. I think it's a 50-50. But I believe due to where on the leg it hit, if you look at the actual context of the tackle and the fact that there was no lunge and there was no real follow through and he was attempting to pull his leg out of the tackle, I think all those factors make it a yellow card just for me. Just. If there was more follow through, if there was more of a lunge into the air, those little factors change it, it would have been a red. I think they just about got this one correct. Just about. If it was given as a red card, though, I wouldn't be sitting there going, what an absolute travesty. Gusto here was right on the edge of receiving his second straight red of the season, which would have been a 4-game suspension. And if I'm honest with you, if Gusto would have got sent off today, I think Fulham would have won this game. I think that they're that vulnerable right now, Chelsea, that is what it would have led to. But for me personally, I think, it could have gone either way. It's the definition of a 50-50 tackle means it's so close. And if either decision was given, I don't think there's too much cause for outrage, if I'm being honest. But that's my view. You may have a different one. Let us know in the comments section below now. I've got to speak Cole Palmer. And do you know what really annoys me about the way Potter's got Chelsea playing? They're winning games, and that needs to be praised. Yes, it does. You can't take that away from them. For some people, we've seen the rhetoric change recently when it comes to Arsenal. Playing well and not winning is unsustainable. It's all about winning. When it comes to Chelsea, people are saying that the quality of the wins is what's unsustainable, and they've got to start playing better, producing better. And I think there's a happy medium between those two things. But of course, it's 2024. People call it the year of facts. I call it the year of extreme polarization. But for me, the football still isn't quite fluid enough. And I think that's partly too much chopping and changing for a team with no European football. I think that there's a severe lack of confidence amongst many, many of the players in this Chelsea team. And some of that is on the manager again, in my personal and humble opinion. I look at Cole Palmer, though, and you can see a player who has come from a team like Chelsea, Man City, a club such as theirs, with a manager like Pep. He's come into Chelsea and he's full and brimming with confidence. A lot of the other players, when you just go through their names, they're either young and up and coming, or they've already been at Chelsea. And they don't have that same ice cold winning edge coursing through their veins that Cole Palmer does. Now, Cole Palmer, for me, is maybe the most talented and technically gifted player I've seen at Chelsea since Eden Hazard. I don't believe he's as gifted as Eden Hazard, but he's the most gifted since him. So please don't twist that statement as many do online. My fear for Palmer is that this could be slowly eroded from him if Chelsea's overarching confidence, winning mentality, and togetherness does not start to progress. Because I thought again today he was excellent and one of the very reasons as to why Chelsea performs so well, in my humble opinion. But I do think that when it comes to Chelsea, Potter's got to do a lot more work on the chemistry. He's got to do a lot more work on the togetherness. And a lot of that will come from just training drills. Where are the patterns of play? So when you watch Fulham today, Fulham don't have the overarching quality Chelsea do on the ball. They just don't. But every time they attacked, it was a similar looking pattern. Well worked, well drilled. The players knew, generally speaking, where to be and at what time. Now, we look at Chelsea and think you've got better technical players. Younger, more experienced, but better. And if the patterns of play were more regular, maybe if the football was, and this is a suggestion, maybe he's overcomplicating things. Maybe he's galaxy braining too much and it's confusing these young players. Keep it basic, more repetition, more drills. I think that will lead to more open chances because sometimes they get the ball in really good positions and it's like they don't know what they're meant to do with the ball at that point. And I kind of feel is if you took these players out and you put them into a Pep team for a few months or a Klopp team for a few months, you would see very different players. And Chelsea are a little bit of a conundrum. Chelsea are a bit of a difficult team to read at this moment in time? Where does the blame lie? Who should you criticize? Is it on the manager? Does he deserve more time, etc., etc.? I want to get your opinions on this, but for me, make the football a bit more simplistic, more repetition, more drills on these patterns of play in the attacking areas. And I think you'll start to see Chelsea win more. And once that confidence starts to grow, once that mentality starts to rise up, once that winning cold nature that you need to be at the top starts to course through more of their veins, as it does Cole Palmer, this Chelsea team can become more dangerous. They still need to go and buy more experience. That isn't going to change much in the next few months. They're still going to have games they don't win because of a lack of experience. Cole Palmer or no Cole Palmer, that's going to happen. That can only be fixed in the transfer window.